Somatic anxiety. What kind of mature qualities I particularly admire in other people? People who seem really at ease in the present. The idea of romantic loss, what once was and is no longer, the sepia-toned memories set to a sad song and then thinking, where'd she go? I would like to integrate in a grounded way some of the kind of ecstatic purring of an MDMA-like state. Just a capacity to meet almost everyone with love. Well, one thing I think they misunderstand about sex is that they think that the sacred and the profane need to be separate in sexuality. I think they can be separate. I think people can have sex and nothing can be sacred. But I think also there's a kind of costume around the sacred that people put in sex that can push a lot of the naughty pleasures under the rug. And it is my desire to be able to integrate those two, so that the naughty can be sacred. Because I think some of the funnest aspects of sexuality are what Esther Perel has described as the sort of transgressive nature of sexuality. That there are parts of it that are about play and a kind of invading of each other's private world. And that can be exciting and thrilling and naughty and mischievous. And dirty, but in a great way. And that if we could bring that and make that sacred too, a word that comes to mind or a phrase that comes to mind is full permission inside this magic circle. That'd be nice. That we worry about certain things to escape greater worries. Wow. Well, illness is a horrible thing. The thought of it worries me. That we have not as much maybe agency as we think we do over the health of our bodies. That there's certain things that are genetically predetermined or, that we can't control is something that I don't like to dwell over. I will get back to doing what you love. That's all you can do. It's a leap of faith every day. So there's that. And, I also worry about, I don't spend a lot of time worrying about it, but just like unexpected accidents. I was kind of freaked out by what happened to Kobe Bryant. You don't really know what to do with that, right? An inspiration to millions of people, prime of his life, kind. How do we come up with some rationalization for why something like that happens? It's hard. All our stories get challenged. All our self-serving stories get challenged in the wake of that kind of tragedy. And all the tragedies we choose not to look at that happen all the time. I would say woke culture is an example of that. So there is a hypersensitivity in society right now surrounding the good desire, right? The heartfelt desire to protect people who have been disempowered in society, right? But from that good place can also emerge a very judgmental critique of anyone who wants to have any kind of conversation or ask any questions about it. One example being, in the woke culture, you want to be open to all cultural diversity. which is a good thing. That comes from a good place. And so there's a sensitivity naturally around, for example, Islamophobia, that you don't want to be discriminating against somebody for their religion, which I also agree. But then that anxiety around not wanting to offend can then make it so that we can't have conversations about the treatment of women in the Middle East. And people in woke culture will be like, oh, well, we don't want to offend, you're a bigot if you're asking questions, maybe like Sam Harris is, about, the forced veil that women are forced to wear. And even asking questions about it labels you a bigot by the woke culture because you're like judging another culture. And Bill Maher famously said, to become tolerant of intolerance makes you just as bad, And so I think we just need to make sure that we continue to have an environment in which we can ask uncomfortable questions, and that the freedom to offend is not the same as being accepting of like racism or hostility or putting people down, but that in conversation, asking questions might offend people, and that's okay, How might I be too romantic for my own good? If I'm too romantic for my own good, so be it.